Good morning, beautiful people around the world, and welcome to Obinwannem World News Update. My name is Obo Promise, the news presenter. On our world news update this morning, Russia promises release of Indians fighting in its army. Russia has promised an early release of all Indian citizens fighting in its army, India's foreign ministry has said. The announcement came at the end of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Moscow, during which he raised the issue with President Vladimir Putin. Delhi has been seeking the release of Indians who say they were lured to Russia on the promise of non-combat jobs in the army, but were later forced into active combat in Ukraine. At least 4 Indians have been killed in the fighting. On Tuesday, Foreign Secretary Vinay Kwatra said at a press briefing that Mr. Modi had strongly raised the issue of early discharge of Indians who had been misled into the service of the Russian army. The Russian side promised early discharge of all Indian nationals from the service of the Russian army, he added. Mr. Quatra said there were about 35 to 50 Indians in the Russian forces, of whom 10 had already been brought home. The two countries would now work to bring back the remaining men, he added. Samsung Electronics Union goes on indefinite strike. A union representing workers at South Korean technology giant Samsung Electronics has called on its roughly 30,000 members to go on strike indefinitely as part of its campaign for better pay and benefits. The announcement came on the last day of a 3-day general strike being held by the National Samsung Electronics Union (NSEU). The union said it had made the decision after management showed no intention of holding talks over its demands. The NSEU, which represents nearly a quarter of Samsung Electronics workers in South Korea, said its actions had disrupted production. Samsung has disputed this claim. Samsung Electronics will ensure no disruptions occur in the production lines. The company remains committed to engaging in good faith negotiations with the union, the firm told BBC News. However, the union said the company has no intention to engage in a dialogue even after the first general strike. Thus, we declare a second general strike starting from July 10th, lasting indefinitely. Still on our world news update, South Korea politician blames women for rising male suicides. A politician in South Korea has been criticized for making dangerous and unsubstantiated comments after linking a rise in male suicide to the increasingly dominant role of women in society. In a report, Seoul City Councillor Kim Ki-dok argued women's increased participation in the workforce over the years had made it harder for men to get jobs and to find women who wanted to marry them. He said the country had recently begun to change into a female-dominant society and that this might partly be responsible for an increase in male suicide attempts. South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates among the world's rich countries, but also has one of the worst records on gender equality. Councillor Kim's comments have been criticized as the latest in a series of out-of-touch remarks made by male politicians. Councillor Kim from the Democratic Party arrived at its assessment when analyzing data on the number of suicide attempts made at bridges along Seoul's Han River. The report published on the City Council's official website showed that the number of suicide attempts along the river had risen from 430 in 2018 to 1,035 in 2023. And of those trying to take their lives, the proportion who were men had climbed from 67% to 77%. And lastly, on our world news update this morning, US officials uncover alleged Russian boat farm. US officials say they have taken action against an AI-powered information operation run from Russia, including nearly 1,000 accounts pretending to be Americans. The accounts on X were designed to spread pro-Russian stories but were automated bots, not real people. In court document made public Tuesday, the U.S. Justice Department said the operation was devised by a deputy editor at Kremlin-owned RT, formerly Russian Today. RT runs TV channels in English and several other languages, but appears much more popular on social media than on conventional airwaves. The Justice Department seized two websites that were used to issue emails associated with the bot account and ordered X to turn over information relating to 968 accounts that investigators say were bots. According to the court document, artificial intelligence was used to create the accounts, which then spread pro-Russian storylines, particularly about the war in Ukraine. And with this, we've come to the end of our world news update this morning. A massive thanks for listening to Obinwannem News Hour. Please do ensure to follow Obinwannem media platform to be updated anytime we come live. My name is Theo Obo Promise, Obinwannem News presenter from Akwa Ibom State. Please do have a lovely day. Bye-bye.